Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Isbot Insider podcast. And today's episode, we talk about artificial intelligence and all about its hype, how it affects the environment, how it affects our jobs, how it affects the robotics industry, and ethics as well. We shouldn't forget talking about that. And diving into this, I'm joined by a great panelists of people that are actually experienced in this, people that know about it, people that have experience here and there about it. And let me introduce...
Shaban Hamza.
I never Lexine.
Asima Patrick.
Risha Shashiba.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Today we shall be tackling how AI is affecting our environment, how AI is equipping with our jobs and what we need to know about it, what kind of institutions are having or offering this kind of services. So to start off with, I think it's best important to know what is AI?
Well, the reality of the question you've asked, I like to first click at background. So AI is actually just us human beings trying to train a computer to think, to act, and to respond in a more humane understanding. Now, if you bring that aspect into the industrial side of it, we have AI in security where we use it in cameras to identify, the loopholes, the culprits, the facial recognition. If you're looking for a thief in Kampala, you can't ask everyone to look for the same thief. You can use AI in cameras, the street cams to find the thief in terms of facial recognition, number plate, registrations. Then there's also AI in healthcare, whereby I don't need to first go to the clinic and chat to the doctor. Guy, I feel dizzy, I feel nausea. You can fit in that information into AI, and based off the previous data it learned from, it can diagnose you. Though, disclaimer, I'd not say that AI is always right. You have to think about what you actually want to do. Though it's also better you visit an actual expert once you're interacting with it. There's also what is it called? The security part. I've talked about the education part, whereby AI is used to as students, we all know how to use AI.
It's our biggest
you have coursework, you're stuck. You have classes, you're not understanding, you need things to be simplified. You don't need to go to the library and pick a billion books to filter out what you need. I can just ask AI to simplify this topic. And it will.
AI has been with us for quite some time. If we can date back to, I think, even the 1950s, AI has been in existence. We have Eliza. Yes, right now the buzz is all OpenAI or ChatGPT, but Eliza was actually ever the first chatbot to be created. So as you can see, it has gone back from way before. And I feel like AI is just there. It has been there to help us. It has been there with us throughout this entire time period, but it has been in the shadows. Right now, it's coming out to light, and that's where the impact is going to start building from. So how it's going to affect our environments is, I feel like it's going to take us more in the direction of jobs, more in the direction of assistance, more in the direction of your right-hand man, let me call it that, Because like he said, it's a smart brain. AI was technically designed to be your perfect human being, the human being without flaws. That is what AI is supposed to be. And that is the direction we intend to take with AI.
So basically to make a normal person's job maybe easier?
Yes, it's just meant to ease your work. It's meant to help you. It's not supposed to eradicate you or remove you entirely from the picture. It's just supposed to help you. It's supposed to be, with lack of a better word, it's supposed to be your good helper.
Okay, cool. So in sectors like health, sectors like, let me say, institutions, schools, how has AI shaped this kind of environment?
Well, to begin with, as she said earlier, regarding AI, first of all, artificial intelligence in this particular situation. So it's something that recognizes, it's a system, right? That recognizes things and helps with prediction. So how it's being applied in most of the large institutions, we're looking at the fact that it's mainly coming into helping with decision making. So most of the huge companies, I feel like that's how in the first world countries they're implementing it. They're using it mainly with decision making because AI is heavily rotated around data. So since we have large data, and I feel like that's one of the huge things that has brought it into light, because initially from the 1950s, they've always wanted to bring it into play, but the data that was there initially wasn't as much. And since currently we have lots of tools that are generating data, we have Instagram that will generate likes and how people love different items, and we're looking at, social trends, everything, that's all data, and that data is capable to be used to train these AI models. So I feel
how has it been different from the past and now, in terms of how people use it, in terms of maybe the available resources? How is AI making, for example, one's life now easier compared to the way it used to be in the past? Is it because of the vast resources that we have, or what is it?
It's basically because of the, I'd say, industrial revolution. As time goes, we expect, things to advance. So as time went on, since we said AI has always been there, it found a better environment for it to thrive in this current era of ours, whereby we have more data, we have better computers that can process those big chunks of data. We have computers that can house the AI itself, because it needs a lot of resources basically to work well, to function well, and to provide whatever you want to use it for. So basically speaking, and I'd say the current era we are in has provided enough resources for AI to actually function well. Yeah, that's all I can say for now.
I see.
Can I add on one, please? So from class, for being all of us, we're all AI students here. And one thing at least we've got to realize that AI started in the 1950s, as we've all said. And there's always been a gap. There was the AI gap. Because it was initially very active within the 1980s, 90s, when they had the Turing test, and we have all those various AI variations, But then the data, the computers they had back then weren't capable. Even until that, still AI is capable of enormous things, but we're still restricted because of the resources. And practically you can see it also here in Uganda. I mean, our internet is on one time, on and off here and there. And also looking at, it's not stable, right? It's not stable since we're mostly getting the internet from either it's on the MTN supplying and various resources. So that's one of the hugest limitations that I feel like that's been cutting us off. And with AI to become big in Uganda as well, we'd have to heavily invest in resources and powerful computers.
Perfect. Yeah, that's actually true, because like the way all of you guys have stated it, you need a lot of data. And I understand, I think in Africa now the data centers are increasing every day because of this kind of evolution, right? But then the biggest question, maybe people out there that don't understand what AI is, they ask themselves, is it risky? Does it mitigate our data? For example, does it mean that now AI that has come, our data is more exposed, or has it been like that?
People think AI is an independent entity, as the movies bring it out.
Yeah.
If you've watched the new Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
It has that whole concept of the entity, and everyone is working for the entity. But at the back of our mind, we're going to reach that level, and I don't think it's possible to ever reach that point, because humans are far the most intelligent beings for now, isn't it?
True.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if we're talking about data collection, I feel like it's companies that have always done the data collection. AI only is trained using this data. So with no way can we say that AI is getting this data from people. It's actually not possible. The AI can't get the data from people, because at the end of the day, it's just trained. It's we're looking at a bunch of algorithms just running with probabilities, guessing what would come next.
True.
Yeah, so I don't think we should worry more about that, but more of the companies that would expose the data, or the hackers that would try to get this data and use it without permission.
Against us. Yes, true.
The bigger worry would be if AI is going to take over people's jobs.
Yeah.
For example, there's this programmer in NASA. He does software engineering. So
NASA, which NASA?
NASA Road.
NASA Road or
Yeah.
NASA?
NASA Road. So he does programming.
Yeah.
This guy usually would sit down and like spend a lot of time coding. You know how the whole coding process is hectic.
Yeah.
Take a long time to like get the customer's details down to the smallest bit. But with AI, he just fits in the description of what the customer wants. And since he knows what he's doing, he filters out what needs to be done and corrects the few flaws that the AI made and makes the work more secure and more usable and more user-friendly. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Lexi,
So
do you agree? Do you agree that the perception of what people have, it could be traditional, it could be people that have never been exposed to these kind of things. Whenever they hear AI, they just think, oh, okay, our jobs are going to be taken. Because, I mean, most of the reports that came out years ago until today, people say, jobs are going to be replaced, people's jobs are going, and people are actually scared. There's that uncertainty of why should I even do this if AI can do it? Do you believe AI will take over jobs?
I don't think AI is going to take over the jobs, because when you look at the AI is not taking over the jobs specifically. AI is taking over the tasks, the repetitive tasks, like data entry. It's tiring. It's a mediocre task. That data load that we're getting, the data sets that we're getting are very big. So what a human could do back in the day, they can't do it now. The data sets are very big. The numbers are increasing. Yeah. So right now, AI is helping reduce that workload. Yeah. In terms of coding, we can see that there's now vibe coding. You can just put into the AI.
For those that don't know what's vibe coding, because I don't know what that is. What's that?
Yeah, so I could supplement on that. Well, vibe coding is, coding and interacting with AI. You don't exactly type in the code, all right? So it's more of, if I'm building a system, I prompt for code snippets in this particular sense. So for example, I'm building a calculator. What am I going to do? I'll prompt, I need a function for adding, subtracting, and all. So the chatbot will generate that small snippet. And with that snippet, I can put it in my program.
So now for someone that is learning coding, don't you think it gives them that uncertainty of, okay, if an AI can do this, am I really important still?
No.
Is there a feel of need of human what can I say, intervention in this kind of things?
For that, I don't know if you've had, I think it was Mark Zuckerberg himself who came up and he openly admitted it. He's like, of late, he has actually learned to lean more on AI for his coding. Okay. And he actually said, people that do not do that, I do not know what's wrong with you. Yeah. You see, at the end of the day, if you are a coder, if you know how to do your code, yes, the AI is going to generate for you your code. You're going to, type in your prompt. It gives you your code. Yeah. But AI is, I don't know if you've seen that joke around of me with my one error, then I give GPT my code. Yeah. And then it throws a shoe and, it's just a bigger error. Yeah. Trust me, so many of us have faced that issue. True. You have a small error, you give it to AI, and for some reason the error is even huger. Like you had one red line, now you have like 10. So if you are an actual coder, you're going to sit down, go through this and fix that error. It's going to be something simple for you because now all you have to do is just look for the error or fit in what hasn't been put in. But now, as a vibe coder, you're going to have to keep going back to prompt to prompt to prompt to prompt. And you're going to end up losing certain parts of your prompt and gaining others. Yeah. That's when we, the AI engineers, we, the software engineers, come in. These are things that a vibe coder can never solve.
So basically, AI in general just helps what was a week's worth of time to be 2 days. Yeah. And this gives someone more time to even do more things and achieve bigger things. Yeah. Now, we've talked about a lot of things just revolving around AI and coding and all that. For a person that is not in this kind of field, let's say person that is a small enterprise owner, how can they integrate AI in their business to help them get more sales, to help them maybe reach a bigger kind of market, and also to feel like the job is not going to take over. Because when people say, or when people think that AI is going to take over their jobs, maybe they think, oh, it's the things that an AI can do, maybe like coding, like what you have discussed here. There's someone in that factory. Do you think that person's job can be taken just because AI has come, although it doesn't need technical information?
Can I add on that? All right. So she said earlier that AI, what it's mainly going to replace, it's the repetitive tasks that are heavily redundant in a company. For example, if I had a company and it involved data entry in this particular situation, or a task that is overly repeated and it requires a huge chunk number of labor, or delivery or packaging, you could look at all of that.
Yeah.
Right? Even a water bottling company. All of that, anything that involves consistent repetition or needs a large number of people doing the same task, which doesn't probably bring any gain to the company, because at the end of the day, you're paying more salaries and all of that, but there is no proper work being done. Okay, so I feel like that's where the AI will come in, because I would reduce on the workforce that people who are deliberately not developing their skills, because entering data, that's not generally a complete career field, independent, because if you're not growing to do something else or improve in that field, then you're not doing anything. It would be possible to replace you because you're not advancing with the current market or with the current world.
Yeah.
Or if you're in health, or if you're a doctor, if you're not learning how to implement or have this AI working for you with the vast data that it has, or if you need to learn a new operation technique and you're not using it to help you with that, someone who's using it is going to take over. Obviously, is going to come and they will replace them with you.
Yeah.
You have to become useful, because at the end of the day, every company right now needs someone that's using AI.
So amidst saying maybe taking over jobs, I think according to what you have said and what she has said as well, I think AI is also creating new jobs.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
I'd give an example of answering partly the question you asked previously. You said, how can a small business owner use AI to boost their business? Well, there's a lot of online marketing currently, and I'd say someone cannot sit down every day to send you the same reel about their business. You get? Now, if you're to integrate AI, you'd ease up a lot of work for yourself, whereby there are recommender systems. Those are AI based, and it can keep how can I say? It can keep presenting someone who's online viewing things online on their socials. They can keep presenting them with part of your goods. You get what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not doing the marketing myself. The AI is doing the marketing for me, whereby it's targeting this one person who is looking for, let me say, a phone. Haven't you ever noticed that thing where you're in IG, you scroll and you see a smartwatch? In fact, no. You just say it. You're like, man, I need a new phone.
What is that?
Then you
By the way,
end up
I
seeing.
swear, you can be on a phone call with someone and you're talking about something that you've never even seen on your FYP.
It goes
and then
back.
all of a sudden, what is that?
It goes back to the
that?
whole data thing. As we told you previously, data is always collected. Data is always collected in several forms. Now that data is used against you and to help you. But in this scenario, it is to help you. So you say you want a phone, and this AI is presenting you with the best phone offers currently. You didn't even know about Black Friday, and it's dropping Black Friday offers to you. Isn't that for your benefit? So basically, me as the business owner, I'd be boosting my business by very far.
Other than the traditional,
and I'd have no one to pay. So literally,
coming into enjoying what he said about how does that happen. We have various phones in this room, right? So we're going to talk about these various things. I want a smartwatch. I think a Koenigsegg is a cool car. All those things. At the end of the day, when you go to Instagram, you're going to see that. But the main cause of that, the way that data is collected, remember, with each application you download, if you don't read the terms and conditions, all this is talked about.
Yes.
Guys,
read your terms and conditions.
Will you permit? Because if you realize, I don't know if you've noticed, where if you download a particular app, it won't work until you probably enable a particular setting, or allow Siri to work with it, or all those, or allow the mic. So you think it's a joke when and also most of the modern phones, they have all their sensors working every single time. Like the camera will stay working. For example, if you notice for the iPhones, I think there was a video I saw on YouTube, that in darkness, if you're careful and you turn off, is it the light? Then you put a pepper, like every second you will notice the LED light flashing.
There's like a blink.
Is it infrared or something like
Yeah.
that? So if you have the right tools, you can actually notice that every 5 seconds it flashes. So it's like picking your face, your biometrics especially, and constantly updating its system. So if you don't know all of these, so meaning if you get to talk about something, obviously because your mic is constantly on and you've accepted the apps to use your information because permitted according to you've read all the terms and conditions, and that's what the company knows. So they will say, you know what, whatever this person uses, we can use it for marketing. So when you talk about a watch, well, Instagram is going to use that information, Facebook, WhatsApp, all those different platforms will use that information.
Yeah.
And recommendations will come in based off that.
100%. That's very true. But what I've picked from this whole jobs and everything, I think it's safe to say AI is here to just, like all of you guys have said something about it. AI is just here to just be your guide.
Yeah.
You know, just to help you, just like this guy, you know. No. But yeah. So something that like I said earlier, something that's supposed to take a long time, it's, bringing the gap closer. Like today I read an article about the KPMG CEOs. So apparently 88% of them agree and think that integrating AI in their companies has helped them in terms of getting consistent, has helped them in terms of accurate details, has helped them also expand actually their businesses wherever they're going to go. And then it talks about how CEOs actually, instead of maybe, let's say like interns, right? Back in the day, maybe you will need an intern to enter data, right? Enter data in your company or all that. But then this time you have AI. So they in the article it said instead of getting these graduates to input data, you actually get them to do something different, something.
To like the graduates' advantage, this time the graduates are there to actually, the people who hire them to be interns would get to see their actual talent, how good you are. Yeah. But previously, you just won't sit there and enter data.
And actually, even the graduates that are in context are the ones that use AI the most.
Yeah.
So basically, you're getting two things that are going. You're having your things in a company being set, but then this person, unlike a traditional person, is going to use AI to actually achieve most of the tasks. So you as a CEO, you're getting your tasks achieved by a very huge percentage. So yeah, I think that's great. But then amidst all this, how have we, the people, mitigated ourselves with this kind of AI? Are there any challenges? Because I don't think that adaptation in Uganda is the same as the adaptation in a first world country.
And I would think the largest or the biggest challenge that we have basically here in Africa is the fact that education about the AI is just coming. You get, and actually computer related courses. Let's get to that, all right? Because we do have data analysts here, apparently. We do have data analysts.
But apparently.
Well, no, I mean, yes, they are there, but they would know how to track their trends using manual paper or Excel, that kind of data. We're not having those actually using.
On that point, how have institutions prepared us for this kind of failure?
Well, I'll say something. Okay, so
that was your point.
All right, that was my point. Yeah. All right, so you can look at it starting from the fact that I didn't know about artificial intelligence, of course, being in Uganda. Like I knew, that's at Harvard, that's in one of the Ivy League universities, and probably at a master's level. Yeah. All right. So, but most of us, I think, most of the people currently here and around all the ones who are outside have heard of this mainly because of ISBAT. Because 2023, I come for my course, and they're telling me about instead of computer science, there is this new course, artificial intelligence. Have you heard about it? And I'm like, okay, wait. Because I didn't know, so now I'm intrigued. I'm interested in knowing what is it about. Then they're telling me, it's about automations, the future. You're looking at things like chatbots that have some capability of AI in them, and you get to know how to build these things, work with them, the data science, the machine learning. So I feel like institutions like ISBAT, and the resources, the computers, it has done a great part so far with at least introducing the course, because now many Ugandans are aware. And the robots that they recently, I think, launched off. And for ISBAT in particular, as you can see, at least they have done their role on getting this out, and even through this podcast.
True. And ISBAT as itself has actually invested a lot in bringing artificial intelligence to Uganda, whereby I'd say an example being the room we're in right now, the AI lab, the artificial intelligence lab. We have heavy programs and they can learn the neurons and everything very well, something that's not everywhere. So basically it has facilitated us and it has introduced us to the whole artificial intelligence world, which makes it a very good university actually for someone to venture into and try out the course.
As we move forward, it's important to pause and actually talk about ethics, because with artificial intelligence, AI has no values. It doesn't think for itself. It doesn't do things by itself, but rather is monitored by humans. It's programmed and given rules and set decisions by the humans. So another question would come in where we say, what happens when AI gets it wrong? Either it could be bias, accountability, transparency, privacy. Who is held accountable for these things?
All right. So, if we're to look at the biases that come about with AI, as I talked about, I think as we discussed sometime earlier, right? About the cameras. Okay, so remember, most of these phone cameras, the normal cameras, they all have an AI model that helps with processing the image, right? To get that final lovely image when you get your iPhone, take a photo. It's not automatic that the camera gets, that's why at times people get the whole thing wrong, that it's the camera getting the looks. It's a nice camera, but it's usually the AI behind. So most of the cameras back in the day, from the 19s, the cameras that were coming out were all trained off a white woman's skin, okay? And that's why with every camera until date, as long as you take a picture and you're a black guy near a white person, they will always look better. And that has also brought about...
Knowing that this is very...
No, it's not. Generally. Okay, light skin. Let's go with that, all right? But it's mainly a white type kind of skin. Because even if you're black and you're of a literal color, you're a bit light, as long as you're in front of that camera, you won't come out as expected, because the shades that they were using were mainly from a white person's perspective. So if you're dark, most of the details wouldn't be picked out. At least that's one thing that I got to learn of this morning. And also the other thing is also, when we're training models, I'll talk about our personal experiences. As we're building the mini projects, you have issues with missing data, wrong labelings, and that also creates serious bias. You either have too much information saying, yes, all boys that are maybe, I'll give an example, all boys that are maybe above the age of 10 and about 2 meters are usually taller than the girls that are about the age of 10. So you base on that fact. So if the AI takes that in perspective, as long as the guy reaches 10 and is not above a particular height, it's a girl. You understand? That's already a bias, and the AI is already biased.
Though the bias comes down to the data that was used to train the AI. Now, if I used data that was monotonous, going back to the camera thing, whereby they have trained these AIs that are using cameras on white, light-skinned people, you get? Whereby if it identifies a darker person, it doesn't identify them as a person, more of an object. You get what I mean? And since they aren't the main focus of the photo, it doesn't enhance them as much. Now, the recent models are the ones that keep, they iterate, they change the data they're training.
Can't it be under machine learning?
It is.
Do you think, is it under that as
under
well?
machine learning?
Because I mean, if today I see that this person's complexion is like this, then tomorrow it can improve it to know, okay, this was actually not an object but a person.
Yeah,
So
it can.
so that it can, avoid the future failures or something.
Yeah, it can. Because previously, if you were to check on the older versions of iPhone, giving the example of Siri, it couldn't recognize African accents most of the time. You'd like say, "Hey Siri," and it wouldn't activate. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But the recent releases of the phones are more, how can I say, more conversant to how you speak, your tone, and what you're actually trying to mean. Whereby when they just launched that whole WhatsApp transcribing thing, where you just tap transcribe on the voice note and it changes the whole audio to text. Previously, some words would, not come out as much.
But now I think with the data that they've accumulated, it tries to learn and all that.
It's better. Yeah. So basically speaking, the bias can come from either the data being very little or being monotonous.
Now, with these days, the ongoing or the increasing, let me say, how people use AI in the bad way. They'll take a picture of someone and make him dance or make him run around, jump, and all that. Who really takes down this kind of responsibility?
Most people think that most people put the blame on the AI, but it's not the AI. It's us as the developers, the users, and the creators, the ones who hold this responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, you put not like a person. Let's say take for example, these people who are putting in these immoral prompts in the AI.
Yeah.
You must set rules in the AI that will block them from creating, let's say, these immoral images or creating
True.
bad images.
So, point to add on that, I'd say also a body needs to be in place to govern how people use the AI. Like the technical advisors of the lawmakers currently need to put in place a body to govern how people use AI.
Okay. So as we move forward, there is a concern about the confidentiality of personal data when it comes to ethics of AI. What can we say about that?
Okay, so confidentiality. I'm going to take this in the sense of what I share and how it's going to be worked with and all that,
Yeah.
So in that case, if I'm looking at company data and sharing my company data, let's be realistic. Some people, most of these days, we have become so AI dependent that they're going to tell you to draft up a document. And it's one thing to go and ask the AI to draft for you as a mock-up and you just fill in what you need to fill in. It's another for you to go and give all your company details that are required for the whole document.
Yeah.
And then you tell the AI to make for you the document.
Yeah.
Now, as a result, you are sharing personal critical data.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But then I'd argue, sorry. I'd argue to say some AIs, let's say like OpenAI, ChatGPTs and all that, they do not give critical answers if you don't give them critical questions. And critical questions come with critical data. If you want to tell them, okay, I want to make a target of $1,000 for my company, it's going to ask you, what are your expenses? What are your this? What are your this? Are you going to give them fake data just because you want to protect yourself in the name of getting good information or not?
There's something called estimation.
Okay. So you'd advise someone to estimate the numbers.
Exactly. You don't need to give in your everything because it's as good as you just going and exposing yourself to the world. You don't know who your data is being shared with. You guys, 90% of human beings, 99.9% of human beings do not read these clauses in the terms and conditions.
Of course,
We
everyone
don't read the
skips.
policy guidelines.
Everyone just skips.
Exactly. So as a result, you're agreeing to things that you do not know. You do not know who your data is being shared with. Several times, there is this app. It's called Settle Me. Several cases have been taken to Settle Me.
Yeah.
Whereby people are suing companies for sharing their data, but at the end of the day, you agree to have them share this data.
True.
You get?
Yeah.
So, and at the end, now that's the thing. Sometimes it will be used for good purposes. Someone will just use it to train their next model and whatnot.
Yeah.
But other people will use it for malicious purposes.
True.
We do not know who creators are. There are people who are creating unsanctioned AIs. Yeah. So if I'm creating an unsanctioned AI and I happen to have a lease with a company that is creating a sanctioned one and they share with me your data, I'm going to do with it whatever I want to do. You get? So yes, the risk of that comes back to us as the users. We need to sieve what we give these AIs, because if we do not, then we are held accountable for what comes out of it.
True.
It's an advanced version of garbage in, garbage out. You get?
I think from what I've seen is that all of you are doing AI and machine learning, right? But does that also involve robotic engineering or?
Well, yes, technically, to a small extent, I'd say. In the AI course previously, that when I had just joined, it was a small course unit that would have to cover, and we have lots of vectors and maths and things to talk about. And it's an engineering field. I mean, because if you look at robotics individually, they've existed before.
Yeah.
So currently, ISBET has introduced a course, I think that started 2024, a course that's to deal with robotics and engineering, and a bachelor's of engineering in robotics and AI, right?
Yeah.
And it's not only just looking at the normal robotics, and how AI is also being implemented in robotics, right? And this course, apparently, it's only ISBET University offering it in the whole Saharan desert.
Okay. That was about the ethics of artificial intelligence and some of the things that us humans need to actually be much more aware of. So for my audience that has been listening, these should be some of the key takeaways from today's podcast. AI is not about machines replacing humans. It's how humans choose to work with machines. AI has already been part of our lives before and is part of our lives now and will be part of our lives in the future. So we need to know how to adapt to AI. AI is not replacing jobs. It's changing jobs in terms of making it easier for yourself. We talked about how AI in automations makes businesses way easier, get you more leads in businesses and all. I think all in all, AI will shape the future, but only humans can decide the kind of future that they want to shape. And I think with that, this has been the ISBET Insider. Thank you so much for tuning in. We shall be having our next podcast soon. Just kindly get updated. And thank you so much for tuning in.